Hello students, welcome to DCE LMS e-learning platform. In today's session, let us learn about separation techniques. In the previous session, we have learned about fractionation and centrifugation. In today's session, let us continue with chromatography and electrophoresis. Chromatography. Chromatography is derived from Greek word chroma, which means color, and graphene, which means writing or recording. Chromatography is an important biophysical technique that enables the separation, identification, and purification of components of a mixture for both qualitative and quantitative analysis. In 1890, Michael Sweat, a Russian-Italian botanist, invented the earliest form of true chromatographic technique for separation of plant pigments. But later, it got evolved and improved by Raphael in 1927. Later, in collaboration with Anthony James, Arthur Martin and Richard Singh, they popularized it and further developed gas chromatography. Chromatography separates a component of mixture which is dissolved in a substance called as the mobile phase and is carried out by a second substance called as the stationary phase. It separates a chemical mixture into individual components and it helps in the analysis of that particular compound. Chromatography is generally carried out by organic chemists and biochemists for analysis, isolation and purification of compounds. A wide range of chromatographic procedure makes use of differences in size, binding affinities, charge and other properties to separate materials. It is a powerful separation technique that is used in all branches of science and is often the only means of separating components from complex mixtures. Moving on to the principle of chromatography. Chromatography is based on the principle where molecules in a mixture are applied onto the surface or onto solid and a fluid stationary phase or a stable phase is separating from each other while moving with the aid of a mobile phase. The factors effective on this separation process include molecular characteristics related to adsorption, partition and affinity or differences among their molecular weights. Because of these differences, some components of the mixture stay longer in the stationary phase and they move slowly in the chromatography system, while others pass rapidly into the mobile phase and they leave the system faster. So, three components thus form the basis of chromatography technique. The first one is stationary phase, the second one is the mobile phase, and the third one is the separated molecule. Stationary phase is always composed of a solid phase or a layer of liquid adsorbed on the solid surface, whereas mobile phase is mostly composed of a liquid or a gaseous component. The type of interaction between the stationary phase, mobile phase and the substances contained in the mixture is the basic component effective on the separation of molecules from each other. Here in the image, you can see a typical paper chromatography setup where the chromatography paper, which is mostly Wachmann filter paper of grade 1, is used and is marked with different molecules at the start line, and it is placed in the solvent and allowed this solvent to carry the molecules present in the paper upward. So in this way, the molecule present in the paper or which is adsorbed on the paper is getting separated with the movement of the stationary phase which is present in the solvent. So below is the true image of a paper chromatography where you can see different molecules are separated and you can see the colors. Henceforth it is called as chromatography. Now moving on to the applications of chromatography. Chromatography is applied in various fields. If we analyze its application in pharmaceutical sector, it is used to identify and analyze samples for the presence of trace elements or chemicals. It is used in the separation of compounds based on their molecular weight and element composition. It is used in the detection of unknown compounds and also to detect the purity of mixture. It is used in drug development. It's a major application. Moving on to chemical industry, chromatography is used in testing water sample. Also it is used to check the air quality. HPLC and GC, that is high pressurized liquid chromatography and gas chromatography, which are basically variants of chromatography. They used to detect various contaminants like PCBs, that is polychlorinated biphenyl, in pesticides and oils. In forensic science, it is used in forensic pathology and crime scene testing, like analyzing blood and hair samples from the crime place. In molecular biology, it is used in various hyphenated techniques like EC-LC-MS, and it is applied in the study of metabolomics and proteomics along with DNA research. HPLC is used in protein separation like insulin purification, plasma fractionation, enzyme purification, and also in various departments like fuel industry, biotechnology, and biochemical processes. Moving on to the next fractionation technique, that is electrophoresis. Electrophoresis describes the migration of a charged particle under the influence of an electric field. This charged particle migrates either to cathode or anode depending on the nature of their net charge. Various essential biological molecules like amino acids, peptides, proteins, nucleic acids, nucleotides, they have ionizable group which at given pH exist in a solution as electrically charged species, either as positively charged cations or negatively charged anions, and they can be separated by electrophoresis. In 1948, a Swedish physical biochemist by name Arne, he was awarded Nobel Prize in Chemistry for the discovery of proteins in blood serum and for studying these proteins through electrophoresis. That's why he was awarded Nobel Prize. Till now, even till today, electrophoresis continues to be an important technique to identify and characterize biological macromolecules. Amino acids, peptides, proteins, and nucleic acids possess ionizable groups and can be made to exist in solution as cations or anions. When a mixture of these components is subjected to an electric field, they migrate differently and can be separated. Moving on to the principle of electrophoresis. When a potential difference is applied, the molecules with different oral charge will begin to separate owing to their different electrophoretic mobility. Even the molecules with similar charge begins to separate if they have different molecular sizes, since they experience different frictional forces. Therefore, some form of electrophoresis rely mostly or totally on the different charges of the molecule for separation, while some other form exploit the difference in their size of the molecule. Here in the image, it is basically a typical setup of agarose gel electrophoresis explaining the process. So let me briefly explain about this agarose gel electrophoresis, which is the most basic form of electrophoresis applied in most laboratories. So agarose gel is mostly used for DNA isolation. So what is done, a casting tray is taken which is mostly made of glass or fiber, and it is made into a mold by using the masking tape. Into this mold, agarose gel is poured. So agarose starts to solidify, and even before the solidification happens, a comb is placed in this tray so as to create wells. These wells make place for the loading of samples. So once the gel solidifies, the comb is removed, and in the wells we start loading our DNA samples, and the first well is mostly used for loading the DNA ladder. And once the loading is done, the gel is dipped in a buffer solution and it is subject to electric charge. Since we know that DNA is negatively charged, that is, it is an anion, it starts moving towards the anode. So on the on subject to electric field, the DNA starts moving from the well towards the anode. Once it reaches the anode, or once it is almost close to anode, we end the electrophoresis by cutting off the electric supply. So in this way, based on the size and based on the charge, the DNA is subject to separation. That is, the denser DNA molecules, they move slowly in the agarose gel, and the smaller DNA molecules of lesser base pairs they move very quickly in the agarose gel and they reach the anode quickly. Electrophoresis is regarded as an incomplete form of electrolysis because electric field is removed even before the molecules in the sample reaches the electrode, because once it reaches the electrode, the DNA moves out of the gel and falls into the buffer solution. So in order to avoid that, it is stopped in between. So the moment it reaches 3/4 of its length, we turn off electrophoresis setup. The separated samples are then located by staining with an appropriate dye or by autoradiography if the sample is radio labeled. That is, if the DNA is radio labeled, then we visualize the DNA molecules by autoradiography. But if it is not radio labeled, then we use dyes. Say for example, we use ethidium bromide. So this ethidium bromide can be visualized under UV light where it fluoresces. So wherever it is glowing, it can be indicated, or it is indicative that the DNA is present in that particular region. Now moving on to the image that is there on the right hand side, you see the agarose gel with the DNA ladder. So the first well is mostly meant for the marker. This marker has a standard set of DNA which separates based on its base pairs. So you can see the heaviest, that is of 1200 base pairs, it is in the beginning of the gel, whereas the smallest DNA molecule, which is about 100 base pairs, it is at the bottom. That is, it moves quickly. And we load different samples, DNA samples simultaneously with the marker in different wells. So from this, what we can infer is, say for example, the sample A, it is here. So what could be the molecular weight of this particular DNA sample? It is mostly 1000 base pairs. So in this way, we can say the molecular weight of DNA or the size of DNA. Similarly in proteins, so for proteins we do not use agarose gel, instead we use polyacrylamide gel. So this is mostly suited for proteins, and we use SDS. If it is used in combination with SDS, we call it as SDS page, that is sodium dodecyl sulfate polyacrylamide gel electrophoresis, which is most suited for protein studies. So here we can see this SDS page gel. Here also we have loaded the first well with that of protein ladder and with our protein samples in the respective consecutive wells. So here also we can determine the molecular weight of protein. Say for example, I am taking this particular protein. So based on the position and in contrast to the protein ladder, we can say that this protein is roughly about 22 kilodalton. In case of DNA, it is measured with respect to base pairs, whereas in case of proteins, we measure the molecular weight in kilodalton. So roughly it is about 22 kilodalton. So that is how we infer the molecular weight of protein and DNA. Moving on to the application of electrophoresis. In agarose gel electrophoresis, DNA and RNA molecules can be separated based on their size, and it is used for the examination of molecules at high resolution, making it much easier to thoroughly analyze the DNA structures. Electrophoresis is also used in forensics to identify the culprits at crime scenes and also to solve maternity and paternity issues through DNA fingerprint technology. So DNA fingerprinting technology is common for both culprit identification and solving maternity and paternity issues. So in DNA for fingerprinting technology, the very basic step is electrophoresis, agarose gel electrophoresis. Next, the third application is SDS page. I told you SDS page stands for sodium dodecyl sulfate polyacrylamide gel electrophoresis. So this is used to determine the molecular weight of proteins. The next application is antibiotic testing. So electrophoresis is used to separate the antibodies in the antibiotic from any impurities. So this process also enables researchers to determine the concentration of the antibiotic, making the dosage more accurate, so which is more important. And the next application is, it is used to test the purity and concentration of vaccines. So researchers use electrophoresis to test variations of vaccines with different levels and types of antibodies to conduct studies to find the best possible version of a single vaccine. Next, the last application is, it is used in the analysis of proteins and antibodies. So electrophoresis that is used for this application is called as immunoelectrophoresis, as it is involving antibodies. and it allows researchers to study the interaction between the proteins and antibodies and also to study autoimmune disorders. To quickly summarize about chromatography and electrophoresis, chromatography is an important biophysical technique that enables the separation, identification and purification of the components of a mixture for both qualitative and quantitative analysis. Chromatography is used in pharmaceutical industry, food industry, molecular biology labs and in forensic science. Electrophoresis describes the migration of a charged particle under the influence of electric field, and it is used in DNA analysis, it is used in detecting the molecular weight of proteins, in forensics and antibiotic testing. Thanks for watching.